For decades, a truly massive global industry was built on a really simple, clever idea. But what happens when that entire foundation just cracks, almost overnight? Well, we're about to dive into a huge economic shockwave that's hitting the legal world, and yeah, it's all being driven by AI. This one sentence coming from deep inside the legal tech world, it's like a thunderclap. It's not just some friendly warning. For a whole industry, this is the verdict. The game is totally changed, and the old rules, poof, they're just gone.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. This entire business model, this thing called legal process outsourcing, was built on selling just one thing: human attention. But what happens when a machine can give you that same attention instantly, for pennies on the dollar? What's even left? The stakes here could not be higher.
Okay, so first, let's really get our heads around the brilliant business model that just got blown up: the world of legal process outsourcing, or LPOs for short.
So this is the core idea: cost arbitrage. Imagine a big law firm in New York. They've got thousands of documents they need reviewed. Now, instead of paying super expensive lawyers in Manhattan, they could send all that work to these highly skilled teams in places like India or the Philippines. They'd get the exact same quality work back, basically overnight, for a tiny fraction of the price. It was a classic, and let me tell you, a very, very profitable business play.
So, the really crucial point to understand is, what were these companies actually selling? It wasn't software. It wasn't a product. Their entire business, their fundamental offering, was focused, skilled human attention, people reading and analyzing documents, and they delivered it at a massive industrial scale.
And then AI arrived. And here's the key. It didn't arrive as a small improvement. It showed up as a direct substitute for the very thing these LPOs were selling.
And when you put them side by side, the comparison is just brutal. The old way, yeah, you got cheaper labor, but you still had all this project management hassle and those overnight time zone delays. The new way with AI, it's instant. It costs next to nothing to run one more document through it, and the results land right where you're working, inside your document. This isn't just a little bit better, it's a completely different universe.
And this right here gets to the absolute core of the problem for LPOs. Their entire business, their bread and butter, was built on this high-volume, repeatable work, stuff like first-pass contract reviews. And what do you know? These are precisely the tasks that AI models are just incredible at. The rule of thumb is pretty simple. If you can write down a set of instructions for a task, an AI can probably do it. Let's make this feel real for a second. Imagine a huge merger deal with 800 different contracts that need to be reviewed. An LPO team working hard might take a full week to get through that initial pass. An AI, on the other hand, trained on that specific law firm's rules, can do that same job in a tiny, tiny fraction of the time. The jump in efficiency is it's mind-boggling. For years, the big argument against AI in law was all about quality. Can you trust it? But that is changing and fast. This quote really nails the massive shift in perception. Senior lawyers are finding that checking an AI's work, which usually comes with its reasoning all tracked and explained, feels really familiar. It feels like they're just reviewing a draft from a junior lawyer, not trying to figure out some mysterious machine. And that makes it so much easier for people to actually adopt it.
But it actually gets worse for the LPOs. See, even if they don't get fully replaced by AI, their ability to set prices has just completely vanished. The entire economic conversation has changed.
Back in the old days, the sales pitch was easy. The LPO would go to a law firm and say, look, you can pay your own lawyer here $100 an hour, or you can pay us $40 an hour for the same work. It was an easy sell because their rate was anchored to that really high in-house lawyer cost. But now, a massive new anchor has been dropped right into the middle of that conversation. The law firm can just turn around and say, hold on, why would I pay you $40 an hour when the cost for my AI to do this is closer to $5? Suddenly, that LPO's price doesn't look cheap anymore. It looks incredibly expensive. Their whole value proposition has been completely flipped on its head.
So, is this just the end of the road? Well, not necessarily. But survival is going to require a radical shift in strategy. How can these businesses possibly adapt and find new ways to actually be valuable?
This is it. This is the billion-dollar question for every single LPO executive right now. If your old model is officially broken, what on earth does the new one look like? Where can human beings still provide value that a machine just can't? The companies that survive will be the ones that build new defenses, new moats. First up, accountability. You can't sue an AI model for malpractice, but you can absolutely hold a professional services firm responsible for its work. Second, deep niche expertise. We're talking about knowing the weird, specific laws in a particular country or complex regulations that a general AI just won't get right. Third is client knowledge, becoming so embedded with your client that you know their history, their appetite for risk, their every preference. And finally, and this is a big one, quality control. You shift from doing the grunt work to validating the AI's work, providing that final human stamp of approval.
So, when we put it all together, what does the future look like? Well, this isn't some temporary storm you can just wait out. For the legal industry, this is permanent climate change.
And let's just be blunt about it. For any LPO that was built purely on that old cost-cutting model, the future is stark. They are facing what's called a structural contraction. This isn't a normal downturn they can just ride out. The market has fundamentally and permanently shifted. And this is the thought I really want to leave you with. AI is turning the mechanical, repeatable parts of knowledge work into a cheap commodity like electricity or water. So the real challenge for the legal world, and frankly for everyone else, is to answer one simple question. Have you built anything of value above that mechanical layer? Because that's where the entire future of work is heading.